Greetings, Summoners. Cosmic here, and welcome back to another Battle Spirits Saga video. And today we're going to talk about the first look of the EVA collab set, with both the starter deck and the booster set getting some reels just this past weekend, where Bandai dropped a big video. Now, of course, I'm going to say go check out that video as well, drop a like, all that good stuff in case you somehow missed it. But I want to do just a quick recap on my thoughts and kind of what I love or don't love, right, about the information we have so far. But before we get into that, I want to just make a quick note that good thing I delayed recording this a day, because they just announced this morning there is going to be limited exclusive promotional stuff that you can get at your LGS that is going to be all EVA themed from what we can see. So there's going to be poster, there's going to be demo decks with exclusive EVA cards. So just getting more of this EVA artwork is great to get out there. However, we have no idea how these are going to be distributed just yet. Again, this is kind of like hot off the press sort of thing. I don't even know if my store is going to get them. So if you are interested in the EVA collab or just want to get some of these promo cards because you're a collector or what have you, go talk to your LGS and see if they're able to get this from the distributor, because I have to imagine it's going to come down to more distributor shenanigans at the end of the day in terms of who gets what. So with that out of the way, we did get the note that we will have 4 complete archetypes between the starter deck and the full booster set with everything that you see here. And we did get a short preview of each of them, at least what the key spirit is. But of course, there are still 70 odd spoilers at this point, considering everything we've seen so far. So we still have a lot to go. This is really just going to be kind of in first impressions and kind of what do I think about the overall theme and balancing all that good stuff. So first and foremost, I love the artwork. Again, this is all, for those that don't know, this is all unique to Battle Spirits artwork, right? So if you go back to the Japanese collab sets, and you will see a lot of this is getting reused, but at least it is new art. Now, with that said, I do have to add my one disclaimer up front around the art itself. And while it is gorgeous, and we've seen some of this again in Japanese Battle Spirits, there have been some of these cards that you put next to one another, get like this nice panoramic view. And unfortunately, as you can see here, is like it just does not look good in the US version or the Battle Spirits Saga version compared to its Japanese counterpart. So I am a little bit bummed by that. The framing is just not doing us any justice at all. They really needed to remove that white transparent box, but at least we got the artwork, right? That's why I got to keep telling myself from an overall standpoint, it looks great. These cards are beautiful, and we've only seen a handful where it looked like it was a screenshot, but instead all this was custom artwork. So huge kudos to Bandai that we are getting to see, more of the special artwork for EVA come together, and now we get to at least celebrate it here in the Battle Spirits Saga version with a lot of the cool promotions that they've been doing. Again, we've had the, exclusive pre-release promos. We've now have the exclusive demo deck stuff. We have the collab set. There's going to be a future EVA only tournament that we don't know the full details on. They'll have more, EVA exclusive stuff. So they are really going all out. Oh, and then also BSS05 will have more EVA stuff, right? So they are really going all out and trying to, market this and make sure that people are aware that Battle Spirits is getting this collab set and doing a lot of really cool stuff for it. Now, will it catch on? Are people going to be picking up and asking for it? Who knows? Time will tell, but I am personally very excited. So with enough of this disclaimer out of the way, let's get into some of the set design and some of the card choices that we've seen. So up first, we do at least have to kind of say, hey, what's like the cool thing that they're doing? And much like Japan, we do see the AT field come back. So it is different where now it's only protecting you against destruction effects, but I would have a feeling that we're going to see a lot more destruction focused effects attached to spirits, which means that this will allow you to save whichever, spirit you care about the most. And then of course, this one just being the Berserk mode, which is going to be, must attack each turn, and having 5, 7, and 9. So it's an uncommon, and as we're going to talk about here shortly, the typing does matter up here where it says Golem, EVA 01, and Nerve. Like that, this typing will probably matter a lot more once we get the full spoilers. They were lacking. I think there's only one card that actually cared about typing other than specific named cards with their nexuses, which is our Brave Light versions that we're getting, for better or for worse. But that type will matter, hopefully a bit more with the full set. So up first, we did have the EVA 01, and again, this is one of the artworks that you can see that we had from the first preview, where we now get a look at the key spirits. So this one is going to be a fun combo multi-attacker that does care about that EVA 01 tag. And again, it's going to be anything that has the tag up here under the typing and not a named card. So again, this is where you have to draw the line between the BSS04 collab stuff we've seen versus what's actually going to be in the collab booster itself. It does need to have that title with it. Now, again, we did see a lot of like extra draw effects, so you can help recycle your hand. We have when summoned, just a lot of ways to kind of filter through your deck and find these pieces. Kind of go figure what we've seen time and time again with purple, just wanting to draw a lot of cards. And then if you have Shinji out while you have one of your Evo 01s destroyed, you get to draw a card if you have 5 or fewer cards. So we're gonna have to really see how this comes together, because as we're thinking about these cards that really line up with one another, you're probably gonna be drawing a lot of cards anyways. So that 5 or fewer cards in hand can be a little bit restricting at times if you don't have a low enough curve. So this is definitely one where you need to see the rest of that support to see where it's going to go. But overall, I think this one is going to be a very fun deck to play in terms of, I think the other version is going to be a little bit more competitive, or at least I hope it is, because I love like the more dredge style of deck. But at the end of the day, this is a good spirit at the top end that allows you to refresh itself, because you are going to have multiple of these Evo 01s that you're discarding. So this can just turn into an insane multi-attack threat. And because of the way that some of these cards are going to line up, right? As we've seen with the dialogue with Father, when the Spirits attacks, draw a card. If you control the Nexus, you're going to be able to line up turns where you're able to apply a lot of pressure. Maybe you have some immortal cards, hint, hint, Beldegor, where you get a lot of these extra attacks in, fill your hand up with some extra draw. You're going to get extra draw of Shinji as well during your combat. And then the Spear of Cassius is going to close the game very quickly, because now suddenly you have 10 cards in hand. You go, okay, I'm just going to keep pitching these. I'm going to keep doing my effect and remove 2 cores, keep restanding, and just keep going, where it's going to force your opponent to have some type of direct interaction, like a Dream Bomb or an Absolute Ice Shield, to break up that combo. But with a 7 cost and 4 reduction, very happy to see the full 4 reduction here. I think this is going to be a very real threat. What I would like to see from this point is more of the Lord of the Ground stuff. Hopefully another Nexus that can really help bring this together, because we do see just the one so far that goes into this archetype, and generally we are going to want a second. And because if you think about what purple is using a lot of right now is more of like Rotting Swamp, right? For Serpents really being kind of the all-star as of late, but just a good general purple card, which sure, I guess could still work here, but I really hope we get to see more of the built-in archetype theme with another Eva 01 kind of payoff, or maybe it's just a special if you control 2 cards sort of thing, right? However they wanted to decide to do that flavor standpoint, I really do hope that, we're not just using Rotting Swamp again, but then Shinji and some other Nexus card can really take it. So in terms of like the 3 of them, I think this is definitely like 2 or tied for 2 or 3 in my opinion. Unfortunately, my favorite deck, at least at current spoilers, even though the Magic card is insane, which kind of gives it away, I guess, I think that will end up being the worst one, but it looks the most fun to me, so I'm going to enjoy it. But I definitely think this one is in the, tie with 2 and 3 category. Moving on from there, we have the Vele deck as well, which is just going to be your red-green beatdown. And I do think this is going to be the best deck. Just from what we have so far, you get the additional... You get the Baby Giganorex effect, where it's going to have the Confront. You have all these ways that's going to get a free power boost. It becomes a double symbol spirit that's going to restand itself. Like this is punching your opponent out of the game, right? So you do have, again, more of this gorgeous artwork coming together. Really love how it all pays off. But we did see some of the other green parts that helped you ramp into it. We do see now when we have the green and red Nexus, because they will help reduce the other, right? So you see 1 green, 1 red, 1 red, 1 green. These will help play the other into the field. And then, of course, you're going to be working towards those reductions with the Eva 02 and Eva 08 and Alpha Gamma, right? Being able to enter the field. And then, of course, there's the green side still, which there was some ramp. We got like a new Ant-Man, basically, which is going to help you ramp some cores to pay for that cost too. So this kind of has like the most complete picture for it based on the very limited spoilers. And because, as I just mentioned with the last one with Shinji, because we do have the Mari and Asuka combo here in terms of like the double Nexus you want to be using, I would expect to see one more good Nexus for Eva 01. And the thing that will be, of course, the disclaimer I got to add is because all of these decks are going to be so Nexus heavy focus, that does question it, like how good is this going to be if, pure red, like Ira remains on top, where they're just going to run 4 Andromeda and 4 Burning Force, right? That might feel a little bit bad, but from a overall flavor standpoint and kind of bringing these archetypes together, I really love the design overall. So again, getting Confront, getting the Soul Core to give you a nice boost here. It's going to gain a symbol if you're at level 3. When it attacks, it's going to get another 3,000. So you're getting a 4,000 boost very easily between these two. So, even at level 3, it's going to be a 12K. So really, again, kind of bringing us back to those Gigano Rex days, which I can really appreciate because, you know, more of that aggressive beatdown red hasn't been a thing. And don't get me wrong, I love Ira. Ira absolutely slaps right now. We have the other top 8 that we're going to record literally after this video, but it'll probably be out later about how Ira is very good and just won an event. But I'd like to see the other play styles of these colors kind of come online. And I think the EVA set actually did a very good job at that, with both this being the beatdown red and then also the Angel deck. I think is going to be something that's very... It's the raid that we wanted and that we should have got instead of just the all-out mill kind of explosive pattern. So talk about that more when we get to Angels, but overall, very excited to see this. And then, of course, Nexus, when you're ramping itself, is pretty cool. So, again, all this is really coming together. Get to restand, get to be aggressive, everything that you want to be doing in just kind of the red beatdown aggressive strategy. And again, I cannot wait to see what the SPRs are going to look like because, of course, if we are getting these in this style, there is going to be a special version for each of these key spirits in the set. And then, of course, again, the Golem, Eva, and then Vele section up here. We will hopefully see more of this typing matter. Now, of course, for the Asuka with the level 2, it does matter here that they're all going to gain Confront. But the one that kind of sticks out to me is Golem, because Golem, as it is today, is only represented in blue, but might be one of the multicolor decks that we're getting in set 5. So then this might also be a nice bridge set from the collab into set 5. So very curious to see where that lines up. Now, personally, my favorite, and God, I don't know which the 2 purple decks effectively is going to be better. But the Spear of Longinus, the EVA 13, I love EVA 13 from Japanese Battle Spirits. I just love all the artwork that it got. I love the play style of it. Again, for those that don't know, that I am a huge like dredge self-mill plan. Beelzebub from or Beelzemon from Digimon being another example of this. Like, we've seen purple like self-mill strategies time and time again from Bandai, and we've kind of been, yes, we have the Reanimate deck in, well, now I guess in live with set 4, but it really didn't get enough support and kind of wasn't there just yet, where you wanted some kind of good self-mill value that plays into its archetype. And finally, EVA 13 is giving us exactly that because it has a reduced cost by using the stuff in your trash towards the cost. So it kind of has like that God Beast Behemoth effect, but now it's just for any nerve card. So this is again where the typing now matters, but of course, because it's all purple, it's really just going to be the purple cards that we want to cycle through. So the support that we saw for this deck, this is the one that had also the least amount of spoilers, it felt like. There was one that was like, you know, the Gendo that mills the 3, which is also really important for filling your graveyard. But then I really want to make a note here for the Mark 07 with the just when destroyed, draw a card. Really nice that this isn't a when opponent's destroyed, so it still works very well with your deadly balances of things of that nature, so you're still going to draw off that way. And then, of course, it does play itself into the cost reduction that you want to be doing with 13. So I'm expecting more of these kind of like self-sacrifice spirits that you just want to throw into your trash anyways, as well as some that are going to do some additional milling. We also did see a Immortal 7, but it wasn't Immortal 8, so it looks like it went with more of the EVA 01 deck. It still had the nerve tag, so it could work with 13. This is kind of where we need to see how are they going to split up these 2 different decks. Again, one purple deck is going to be more of that multi-attack core stripping combo, where now your Spear is going to be more of like, hey, I'm going to be able to restand this with Karu and get the multiple burn effect and just have a boss monster payoff that way. So again, 5 is quite a bit in terms of like getting this into play, but it then does help you cheat to level up your Angel or Nerve Spirits to the max amount, because this does need to have 6 cores on it otherwise. So at least from a, you know, what is going to be like the base of this deck, obviously it's this Nexus and this Key Spirit, but what does the rest of it look like? We kind of have to wait and see, because again, there's a lot of ways that they could do this, but I'm expecting again more stuff like Mark 07 and more stuff like the self-mill to kind of bring it all together and get it online. And then the last archetype is going to be Angels. And oh my God, do I love Second Impact. I don't think it's going to be good enough for how the rest of these decks want to line up and how aggressive that they're going to be. On top of the Angel deck just looking like it's going to fill a more aggressive role anyways, but you're probably going to still be running like a 2 of Second Impact in every deck anyways, because the effect is insane. Just a one-sided board wipe, because spoiler, you're playing all Angels, is very welcome. So again, this one was interesting because the card preview that they showed off was the 4th Angel, which has an effect that lets you move your soul core around, and then the Angels care about what, you know, do you have the soul core on it? So that's kind of cool that it has like this multi-attack, the soul core is kind of moving around style of play, but we really didn't get to see a big payoff. Like we saw an anti-aggro like control kind of piece. So it's weird that we have this very low to the ground, want to be aggressive Blue Angel strategy, and then we have cards like Second Impact and what was that, Fifth Angel, if I remember correctly, the cube one, off the top of my head. It has a more control element to it, so it's like, it reminds me a lot of, this is my one random reference I'm going to make, it reminds me a lot of Titans, Blue Titans specifically from Weiss Schwarz, where it's like, you have some kind of like, oh, they're all cheap, they're all working together into like some big payoff, but we don't have that big payoff other than Second Impact, so I wonder if this is going to be it. Like, and don't get me wrong, this is going to be a game ender. If your opponent plays into it and they just lose their entire board to it while you swing through and check for an Absolute Ice Shield, yeah, that's going to be pretty devastating. The thing is, it does still require you to put 4 Angel Spirits to the bottom, and we know that we don't have any like self-mill effects. So again, I'm very curious. I think this one is definitely the worst, at least of what we've seen from a, you know, overall competitive standpoint. But again, from flavor, wonderful job. I loved all the angels that they previewed. It definitely looks like it's going to be a fun deck, but I do wonder what the power level is going to look like ultimately when we've only seen something like Second Impact kind of at the top end. So that does leave a little bit of questions because again, the power is low, the cost is low. They're going to have a hard time swinging through some bigger spirits. Really do kind of wonder where this is going to go, but they do have like that multi-raid, multi-mill kind of effect built in. And so with that, that is a quick overview. Again, I just wanted to do a highlight to get the news out there, talk about Evangelion, let people know they can go bug their stores about the demo decks and all that good stuff. And you know what I'm really excited for, again, I'm just a huge EVA 13 from an archetype standpoint stan, so I'm really curious to see where that goes. But let me know in the comments below which one that you are most excited about, and if we were to do a versus video, which 2 decks you want to see go up head-to-head first on the channel. So with that, my friends, stay safe, stay hydrated, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.